Greetings, fellow LARPers. Today I'm going to show you how to make these elite or sewn packets. Most of you are very familiar with the regular packets that are just cut into a square and you put a little birdseed in the middle and wrap it up, and there you go. These ones fly farther and faster at their target, so they're preferred by most of the veteran gamers. And I'm going to go over the dimensions, type of materials you should use, and also the birdseed that I normally use in mine. The material you want to use is a mix of 50% cotton and 50% polyester, or 100% cotton blend. Anything else is either going to be too weak or too hard for most sewing machines to handle. I'm currently using a Brother XL2610. You can find them at Joann's. Most Walmarts or Targets have them, or most of any of the clothing hobby shops have them. Now onto the dimensions. For the dimensions, you're going to want at least 10 3/4 to 11 inches. You can make them longer depending on how big you want the tail end. By tail, I mean this end right here. It's the end that you normally hold it with. The base is going to be about 2 1/4 inches to 2.5 inches. You also make it to where you can actually have a nice base. Too big and it's just going to be clunky, just like the regular packets are, and too thin you won't be able to fill up with very much seed. After you get to this point, you're going to want to fold it in half. And that'll make it to where you don't have to sew on the bottom, thus saving you quite a great deal of time. I learned this after a little bit of trial and error. So after that, you're going to want to sew about 3 inches up. The reason you want to do this is to keep your tail nice and long so you have something to grab onto. And it also gives you a nice base for the bottom. After this, you're going to sew. See? After sewing, you're going to take and move it inside out. This is what it looks like after it's moved inside out. Notice the nice lines on the side. And don't be afraid, because normally I use my Sharpie and I'll jam it in there to make sure that the sides will hold on both sides, and I'll poke it down to make sure it's nice and flush on the bottom. Now, the grade of birdseed I use is this right here. It doesn't have any of the sunflower seeds, and it's actually very good. I've used it for a long time. I've never had any problem with any of the packets I use, including the traditional ones. So if you do go with the birdseed, I definitely suggest this. I've heard of other people using other things, but most times those make them too hard, such as rice or some of these pellets or soft foam. I don't suggest them. Definitely stick with the regular birdseed. They don't absorb water and they don't freeze in the cold. Once you're there, you'll find yourself filling up almost to the brim. You'll be able to tell because you won't be able to close it otherwise without the birdseed filling out. You're then going to take a rubber band, tie it off nice and tight. I got a fairly thick rubber band here. I prefer the grade because most of the hair type are really thin, break easily. Well, I hope that this tutorial helps you in at least starting a sewn packets, or elite packets as they're called. If you want a more in-depth explanation, feel free to post under the comments. Thank you and have a nice day.